Illuminating guilt with moonlight and meditation. All human beings make mistakes, and there are times when those mistakes hurt other people. The positive intention of guilt is to lead us into learning what needs to be changed in order to avoid future harm, if possible. But when guilt runs unchecked, it acts as a punisher that can cause a lot of pain and robs us from the possibility of making amends or learning from what happened. If you came to this meditation because of such a sensitive situation, take your meditation posture comfortably and safely place this work in the hands of your own inner wisdom. We will begin with a pranayama to slow down the yang energy and connect with the yin energy, which is what we're invoking for this meditation. You will cover your right nostril with your right hand thumb and inhale through your left nostril. Then cover your left nostril with the index finger of your right hand and exhale through the right nostril. You will repeat several series like this, inhaling through the left nostril and exhaling through the right nostril. Go back to your natural breathing. There are people who believe that forgiving themselves would be an escape from taking personal responsibility. There are those who have long been at war with themselves for not achieving a supposedly unrealistic perfection, and guilt becomes yet another way in which they berate themselves for not being good enough something. And there are those who frankly don't think they deserve forgiveness. But no matter what happened, part of our shared humanity is fallibility. No one is perfect. We all may at times act in ways that would not match what we would consider the best version of ourselves. Despite that, we are still worth the same after our mistakes as we were before them, because our worth is in no way tied to our behaviors, which is a myth worth debunking. Human beings are worth for the simple fact that we exist, not for what we do or don't do. Our ancestors used to perform rituals with the image of the moon to get rid of things they did not feel capable of releasing by themselves. The moon is such a constant presence in our lives that it has always occupied a space in our collective imagination. It has been treated as a guardian that watches over our dreams and unconscious materials. But today we also know that by its gravitational effect, the moon affects the tides of the ocean, and since water for many cultures has always represented the emotional world, it is an excellent symbol for this work of transformative imagination. Finally, even science has proven that the moon affects our own biological rhythms. For all of the previously mentioned, call upon the moon as you would call a supportive friend. Imagine that the moon is illuminating this work just as it illuminates the night flight of birds migrating to reach a better place. Imagine that you're illuminated by a waning moon, like the one you see on the screen, which is the one that calls us to reflect on the mistakes and successes of what we have gone through so far, to take stock of the experience we have lived, and to reach processes of discernment. Imagine that you're standing up, leaving the judgments on this side of the fence, and crossing the door to see things from the outside, under this new loving light, and ask yourself, what would have been the need that was at stake when you acted the way you did? Was it perhaps a need for safety, protection, understanding, or to heal something that is still hurting? Was it a protect me, understand me, leave me alone, respect me, help me, reconnect me with my origins, or perhaps just a please love me? Recognize what your need was, and that need is human. It is something that all beings share. So try to give it a loving acceptance. Although it may not have been the best way to act, the need behind the action is understandable. If it helps you, bring your hand to your chest and imagine that from there comes a compassionate love for your heart, the perfect satisfier for that need, through the first color that comes to your mind, that is coming through your fingers into your chest with your imagination. And you notice how a certain relief begins to appear as you are offering a much needed understanding. In order for guilt to fulfill its positive intention, ask yourself in this sacred space, what can I learn from this? The past is gone and cannot be changed, but thinking ahead, what could I do differently if something like this ever happened to me again? Ask the moon for her help so that this will serve your awakening of consciousness. Now again, using the power of your imagination, imagine the waning moon like the one you see on the screen that is extracting from you all the pain and all that has ceased to serve from the situation in a lunar beam, extracting it, releasing you from it, to transform and renew your emotional energy by transforming painful guilt into compassionate learning. The waning moon has been considered to be the one that indicates that it is time to clean, cut, and transform. Let the waning moon heal what needs to be healed, change what needs to be changed, and accommodate what needs to be accommodated for your healthy well-being. While the moon is releasing you from what is no longer necessary, take advantage of this moment, and if you feel like it and it is appropriate, invoke forgiveness for you and for who you hurt, and offer good wishes or blessings of goodwill for that person or persons, so that they also find a wiser way to meet their own needs, assuming each their own personal responsibility, and no more. The moon is taking care of getting your intention across with its lunar blessing. Now imagine a new moon, like the one you see on the screen. The new moon connects us with the possibility of starting over, from a place that, as the name implies, is a new place. The moon of new beginnings, which is when you can barely see the moon in the sky, but just as well because the seeds are gestated in the blackest darkness. So now you're sowing your intention for yourself going forward. Think about what you want in your life. While the moon is sending you a healthy renewal of energies, so that you come out of this experience with more wisdom, strength, and compassion towards other beings and yourself. All the tides calm again, and in the deep, the sea has always been at peace. Thus, calm and hope are returning to your heart today. Now imagine a crescent moon like the one you see on the screen, which is the one that calls us to focus on all that we would like to empower, developing our will and putting us into action. Therefore, imagine yourself in the next hours, days, and weeks and months with those changes you ask for, feeling the way you want to feel, living the way you want to live, enjoying the fruits of the intention you sowed while you continue learning, because the crescent moon is here to help you grow. And to conclude, bring to your mind the image of the full moon, which is when the moon is full, filled, and plentiful. There is nothing to add, nothing to complete. That is why the full moon helps us to connect with an emotion of satisfaction. There is nothing more to ask for, nothing more to seek, nothing more to pursue. It is the time to let go and be grateful. Be thankful for those things in your life you do have that make it worth living. And as the full moon is also a time for giving and sharing, bring to mind someone who would also benefit from forgiving themselves, whether you know them or not, and send them your blessing that they do. As someone who has already gone through all of that. Namaste. Thank you for meditating with Psicoterapia Mind.